Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bevins Bricks. Double checking that I have sound because I am bad at doing that. Yes, we do. Okay. um, Let me check one more thing. And I have not been live in a while, and I thought, you know what? Why not get on and go live? I don't plan on doing too much, as I am wore out. To be perfectly honest, I actually have. You guys really can't see it, but I have all my soldering stuff out here set up because I've been doing a lot of work, as I just showed in the video earlier today, on my lighting and such. So I have kind of all my soldering station stuff over here, kind of in my way. But I'm going to play around with the inside of this a little bit, work on trying to get some of the office space I think set up for tonight. And I thought, you know what, why not do a quick live stream? And Kip Hoffman, how you doing? Kyle Dunbar, Legends Builds, Sour Poots, hello, hello. Mike McDonough, he says, yay, I'm early. Lego Holmes, how you doing, my friend? Uh, and yes, like I said, and yes, I have sound. Thanks for pointing that out, Kyle. Paul Bott, how you doing, buddy? Kenneth Swan, hello, hello. Brian, hey, yeah, long time no see, absolutely. I tried to talk a little bit earlier. I think it was Greg and God, Judge Dredd. Let's say Paul is what he actually goes by, but I talked to them for a little bit in Discord today in between some of the stuff I was doing. I've been doing a ton of things around my house. That's one of the problems with spring where I live because I have several acres of land. And thank you so much, Paul Bott. Paul Bott just donated $1. What I was getting at though is because I have several acres, I have several acres to maintain, and I have been trying because I kind of let some stuff kind of go last year as far as maintaining things, and I'm trying to play catch up on last year's work. So I've been kicking my own teeth in on that. Plus, good news for me anyway. I uh, I finally ordered everything to get central air installed in my barn because last year when it got really hot, like July and August, it actually got pretty warm out here in my barn. It never got insanely hot, but it would, to me, it's hot anyway. Let me put it that way. It would get up around 80 degrees on a really bad day inside of here. And I had window air units that I would try and plug in to get it to cool off. But uh, this is such a big space, they just couldn't keep up. So I finally ordered everything to get my central air installed, and that was one of the things I actually did today too. Is I got everything prepped and ready for when my condenser and compressor and all that arrive. I can actually bring them out here, slap them in, and get that installed. So I'm hoping to get that done here in about another week. Like I said, good news for me anyway, to keep me comfortable out in the barn. And thank you so much, Kip Hoffman. Just donated $1 as well. That's awesome of you. Thank you, man. Mike McDonough, hey, how you doing, my friend? Kip Hoffman says, such a great way to wrap up an awesome AFOL day. I did not know today was AFOL day. I was actually supposed to go to my local lug not that long ago, and my local lug meeting, and they still have the restrictions here in Michigan for wearing masks. And the weekend that they were supposed to have their meeting, they were doing it outside to promote social distancing and all that stuff. And with that being said, I was not sitting outside because it was 92 degrees the day that they had their meeting, and I was not sitting outside in a 92-degree day with a face mask on. Just not happening for me. So I passed on that one. And Brett Donoghue, how you doing? Good evening, Papa's Bricks. Hello, hello, Mr. Blocks. How's it going? I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking, my friend. And I see everybody else is talking to each other. Anyway, do I have? Yes, I do have the power plugged on. For those of you that saw the video earlier today, I'll give you kind of another peek at it while we're actually live. Just for those of you that haven't seen the video anyway. This is where I'm currently at, and I'm sure if you watch the video, you already kind of have an idea. But this is where I'm at. This is the only floor I've done. I know a lot of people say that I should do a lot more interior details and such on large buildings. The problem as to why I never really did it in the past. And Ned, thank you so much. Ned, he says, welcome back. And thank you so much for that $10 donation. That's really appreciated, Ned. But just trying to kind of show you guys, I typically don't do interiors on large buildings. And as you can see, this is why, because it's a ton of space, it's a ton of floors to do. And that is also why I wanted to point out, I put a couple other Marvel superheroes in here, but something else I did want to point out though is part of the, and thank you, Paul. Everybody's hitting it up tonight. Thank you so much, Paul, for that $3 donation. But I'm keeping it very simplistic is the point that I was trying to get at. As you can tell by looking in here anyway, I haven't gotten carried away, and a lot of that is quite simply due to the fact that it's not something you're going to see quite frequently anyway. And to me, it's kind of a waste of parts to try and do the entire interior and be extremely detailed. So for me, I know some people will say that this is actually quite detailed, but for me, this is not detailed. This is what I call just doing a simplistic approach with the little stage over here with Iron Man and I'm having a brain cramp and I can't remember everybody's names, but anyway, with Iron Man on the stage and then a few other random people in the audience. And then I made a small grand piano that I have up here at the front display. And then I tried to make it elegant because we all know that, you know, Tony Stark is somebody that likes to throw parties, but it's typically classy parties. So I tried to make a really elegant looking light that would illuminate this party hall. And then if you can't see it from the other side, you'll see that the stage lights, I actually wired all those up as well. And like I said, I know that to some people this is probably very detailed, but to my degree of what I normally like to do details, this is actually a low budget on that aspect anyway. And thank you so much, Mr. Blocks. He says that looks very nice. And Paul Bot says, when are you starting on the base of the tower? Not until I get this actually finished up first, because I want to have this 100% done. And then that way I know once I get the base of the tower set, I can just set this onto it. The base of the tower, I can tell you, there's not going to be any interior in it in any way, shape, or form. What my intention is for the base of this, once I actually get to that point anyway, is just I'm going to put all black windows in it so you can't really see inside of it. And I'm just going to black it out because the inside of the base is going to basically be a bunch of Duplo kind of locked in place to support the weight of this actual building itself, because this building actually is, the more that I'm adding to it, the heavier this guy's getting. So it's increasing in size, but it's also increasing in weight. So I need to have a very, very strong base in order to be able to hold and take the amount of weight that it's going to be supporting. And that is another reason why I'm not going to do any interior at all on the base of the building. Trying to catch up on a few more comments, and then I'm going to start working on the interior a little bit. Ned talking to Mike. Jonathan C. says, hey, Daryl, that piano looks great. Would like to see a video about it. I could do that at some point. Just to show you real quickly, though, it's a real simple build. I didn't do nothing fancy with it. Part of the problem is what I would actually like to do for the top of it. I don't have the pieces available to do exactly what I would like to do. So I just kind of flubbed it. And then the inside of it, I tried to make it look like there was actually strings inside of it and put a little fill on it. So it gave it a little bit of character. Personally, I would be happier if it had a little bit more detailed in it. And I'm trying to get it back together. There we go. But like I said, I had to work with the pieces I had on hand. What I actually want to do is I want to replace this part and this piece with some different parts to actually, before I would want to do a video on it, because I really want it to look how I want it to look before I would do a video on it, instead of how I threw it together to do a video on it. The Stig says, my little city is nowhere near the size of yours, but I love to have little interiors with a story. For instance, I named a dance studio after my sister who runs one in real life. I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied. Again, you have to bear with me. I am actually exhausted. And I do get that, the Stig. But here's the thing, and this is what I always try to tell people when I'm actually working on buildings and such, is what I have right now standing in front of me, as far as where I'm at with this tower so far. I have, with it being hollow, not including any of the lighting or any of the details I have on the interior, this building is roughly $1,500 to $2,000. For me to actually outfit the interior of the building, it's going to cost me another $1,000. If I wanted to really get crazy with it, $2,000. And that's the point that, and I think that's the point that a lot of people miss. Most people don't build in the size and the scale that I actually build in. A lot of my buildings are massive. Most of my buildings are massive. And it's real easy to detail a building when it's small, especially like the modular buildings and things like that. You can put a little couch, a TV in the corner, so on and so forth. Bada boom, bada bing, you're done. But when you're talking, buildings that are 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet in height, when you start trying to do an interior on that, you're going a whole nother level. And it's not that I don't want the interiors, it's just I don't want to waste the money for something that's really not seen once the building is sealed. I intend on anyway, on a lot of my buildings to put some small details on the inside of them, just for something for fill. So if I do put lights in them, now that I'm on the big lighting kick, there'll be something to see when the lights are on. Through the windows and things like that, but I'll never get super detailed just because of the sheer size and the cost and the time it takes to actually do them. Brian LeBlanc says, makes sense. The bigger the city, the bigger the buildings become the detail. Yes, small cities like I have, which is on a shelf, I like to add interior detail. And like I said, I totally agree with smaller buildings. Like I said, it's actually an easy task. At least in my opinion anyway, it's a very easy task to do buildings that are on a smaller scale. But when you're building big stuff like what I'm doing, it's better to minimize, and it doesn't necessarily, because as you could see with the first floor that I was showing you guys, it can still look good and be minimalistic, because the big thing is you just basically want to have something to see through the glass if you're looking into it. So it doesn't have to be, because what adds to the expense when you're doing the interiors on very large buildings is when you start tiling the floors and things of that nature, that just sends your costs through the roof. I mean, insanely expensive. And hey, how you doing? A ripoff king of random. And Mike says, I must have missed a comment or something. I had brought up something about restrictions is what he was talking about, Ned. But like I said, he's just trying to enforce my rules, Mike. So sorry about that. I shouldn't have brought it up myself. Rhonda Fritz, hello. How you doing? But no need to leave, Mike. You're good, my friend. And Rob says, holy moly, Batman. Yes, I'm actually live. I am alive. Anyway, one of the first things I want to do, because I'm looking at, if you've watched my other video, what I'm intending on doing is I want to make this space office space. And one of the other things I do want to point out is, and it was to try and help me on expenses, costs, and everything else, is because technically I should have a floor on every single level. So to save me time, save me money, and save me everything else, what I've actually done is each run of 2 windows is actually going to be a floor. What I'm basically doing is I'm kind of doing a loft, if you will, on this floor. So I'm going to have, what I'm thinking in my head anyway, is I'm going to have 2 offices here. I'm going to have one big office here with a stair, and then I'm going to put a bunch of like cubicles or something out in that area to consider this like office space. And then I'll have the dummy elevator that runs right up through that, and then I'll do the next floor. But I want to get this floor fully finished first. This floor is actually going to be a lot easier because all I have to do, I'm not doing any fancy lighting. Being that this is an office type environment, all I'm simply going to be doing is just putting some basic lights up on the top. I'm just going to pop them right to the bottom of the next floor above it, just to make it really bright, and then have all the cubicles in here. And hey, how you doing, Brick Sergeant? Thanks so much for signing in. Anyway, let me get some windows, and let me start kind of roughing up a few things, because I have a few different ideas I want to try out. But I think for the interior, what I'm going to do is use black frames. Which what I really need to do is I need to figure out what I want to do for bookcases and desks back there too. before I start slapping up doors and windows now that I'm thinking about it. Let's do a simple desk. Let's do 2 simple desks. Now, how I like to do simple desks, just quite simply, I like to take a couple of headlight bricks. I like to put a jumper brick on those headlight bricks to make it look like a drawer. And then I'll just simply put a 2x6 across the top. And let me get my parts and I'll show you what I mean. And if you can see them, you'll have to excuse my flannel pants. It's called, I just got out of the shower and thought, you know what? Because Paul had asked me if I was going to go live. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go live. I'll do it real quick. But I just got out of the shower, so I went ahead and put my pajama bottoms on to be comfortable. But anyway, that's what I mean by, and thank you so much, Brick Sergeant. I appreciate that. He just donated $5 and says, good to see you back at the live stream, Daryl. And thank you, Brick Sergeant. I appreciate that. This is what I like to do for a basic desk. And what I'll do is I'll put 2x2s underneath that. And then I'll tile off the top, but I'm just showing you the start of it. And then what I'll do is I'll put a jumper tile here and a jumper tile here to make it look like it's a drawer. And then we're going to make some file cabinets as well. And let me turn off my sound effects so you guys aren't hearing R2-D2 squeak all the time. Anyway, let me get a few more pieces. We're going to make 2 desks because I'm going to split this room in half. So we're going to have one office here and one office here because we want to populate the inside of it a little bit with a few different details. So let me get a couple more headlight bricks. And I see I am actually getting low on headlight bricks, so I might have to order some soon. Hey, Dale. That going, put those on, put these on, so that gives me 1 desk, 2 desks. Now let's get the jumpers. And just to show you, you don't have to keep them all in one solid color. I think that tan complements, it's actually not tan, I forget, it's like a nougat, I think is the color. But I think the nougat actually complements the brown very well. Absolutely, Rob, I totally agree. And yeah, Greg, because if I order some headlight bricks, I'm probably going to order at least 100 of them. So it's probably a very good idea to go ahead and do the alert. Now something else that I like to do for desks, let me show you, because like since we're going to do the nougat for the drawers, let's do nougat for the top too, because that's another nice contrast in color and it adds a little bit of detail. So here's how we're going to do that. Grab a few parts. And this is actually the fun part of doing a lot of these little builds. Is like, for example, for this, let's make this desk, let's put a standard tile on the, you know what, let's put a standard tile on this side. Let's put a jumper tile on that side. Because what we're going to do is we're going to stack paper on that. And let me find, let's see. Trying to find a newspaper. or an envelope piece. I got some in here. I just got to locate them. There we go. So now let's make this one look like he's got some papers on his desk. And we're also going to put a little computer like that in the center, so like he's working. So let's get a piece for that. I am not seeing the part that I want. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to cheat that. We're going to put a jumper on that guy. And now because I don't have the part that I want, we're going to do that for the monitor. And now we're going to put a couple pads of paper over here. And what works great for paper to make it look like it's stacked well is you take, like for this instance, you take a little envelope piece, a printed envelope piece, and you put it on a few jumper plates just to kind of show you. And then you stack them and you twist them a little. So it looks like it's a pile of paper. And it's just a real simple, little quick, easy technique. So now we have one office desk done. Now let's do this desk table. Now this one, we're going to put the computer off to the side. So we need one more printed piece. Hey, Steve Divany, how you doing, my friend? Now him, we're going to stack some newspapers. But we're also going to do the computer screen. As soon as I find the computer screen. And you know it's funny because I do have a bag of them. They're there. As I say, I'm not finding them. Paul Bott says, I have the $1 million question. Is your barn still clean? Yes, actually, Paul Bott, the barn is still clean. Hold on. Well, it's partially clean. And I will show you a picture or show you a camera view of it here momentarily. Let me get, because I want this one to have a keyboard. Give me 1 second, guys. Now I'm going to do a stack of newspapers on that desk. And it's the same thing with like the envelopes, except now you're going to use the 2x2 jumpers. And you just kind of twirl them around a little bit. Pop it down on there. And now you have a pile of mail on that desk. So now there's two different desks. And actually looking at it, I kind of like the keyboard. So I'm going to add the keyboard to this guy too. I got to set up... No, I don't have to set up the green screen to hide the mess. I'm just trying to finish the project at hand. Because I like the keyboard better. So we're putting the keyboard on this guy. There, now we got a keyboard on both of them. And just so Paul will stop asking, just to show you, I'm going to show you the proof. It is still clean over there, except for the video I just made. You can see the open boxes out in the middle of the floor, and then I do have a garbage bag over here, and that was me sorting parts from a set. So yes, it is still clean, Paul, for the most part. Except for everything that I actually had from the last 2 videos I still have sitting out. I haven't had a chance to clean it yet. And hey, Greg, how you doing? Steve Divany says, really been missing your live streams. Glad to see you tonight. And thank you. I'm glad to see you too, my friend. I had kind of cut back on them quite a bit there for a while. I was just, to be quite blatantly honest, I was actually exhausted. And I was getting frustrated, getting annoyed. And that was part of why I kind of cut back a little bit. And it's because nobody was doing anything really. Not that anybody... I mean, nothing out of the ordinary anybody, but I felt like, you know what, I'm getting annoyed so easily. I don't want to be on doing live streams feeling annoyed, because then I'm not giving the feedback and I'm not interacting with everybody and talking and all that like I should be. And I just thought it was a good idea to kind of step back, take a break. I was trying to get stuff done around the house. And just kind of regroup a little bit, so that way when I come on and do live streams, I will be a much happier, more interactive Daryl. So with that being said, I am going to start trying to, I'm not going to promise anything, I'm going to start trying to do a little bit more live streams here a little bit more frequently. I'm also going to start trying to ramp my videos back up. I still have a bunch of other stuff I'm trying to get done around my house, as far as yard work and things of that nature, but hopefully you guys will slowly start to see an increase, though, of videos and other things again, as I really do miss being live and hanging out and talking with everybody. No, there's no green screen. Legends Build says, I ordered from Pick a Brick a brick 2 weeks ago. Hopefully the pieces arrive soon. Typically with Pick a Brick orders, it usually takes at least 4 to 6 weeks. So expect a couple more weeks wait on that. The Stig says, that's cleaner than my condo, and that's good, because that now Paul has somebody new he can complain about not being clean. And yes, I finished a lot of projects here lately, Paul. And yes, you were absolutely right. It would not be a normal stream if you did not crack the whip. And my biggest thing, because I know Rob just said the same thing as well, my biggest thing for me anyway, for keeping my shop clean anyway, it's really more of an issue of, and let me grab some more parts while I'm jacking my jaws. It's really more of an issue of me having open boxes from orders and stuff that I have is what I have a hard time keeping up with. And a lot of it is because I don't want to throw the boxes away. I break them down and then I keep them in my little room over here next to me. And it's just a matter of me actually sitting down and saying, hey, why don't you break the boxes down and put them away? But that's really what most of my mess usually is. I'm trying to think, because I have 2 computers. I have the notes and stuff on them. I'm thinking, well, first of all, let's do some real quick, easy chairs. So let's see. And since we went with the nougat, let's Well, I don't have the nougat round pieces, but I'm just going to do that for simple chairs for these offices. Let's put a simple, quick, easy plant in both of them. So for planters, what I like to do is I like to use this little piece. I also like to use these for toilets, by the way. But these stick right to the ground like that, and what we'll simply do is we will take a 1x1 round brown, we'll stick it inside of there. And now what we're going to do is in the red potter, we're going to put this in there so it looks like he has flowers growing in there. So that'll be in one office. Actually, you know what? I don't think I like the flowers. So I will do my standard plant for that one. So that's one office. Now the other office, let's do something a little different. Where are they at? They're there. Let's make it look kind of like he's got a little, like, I don't know what you'd call it, but like a little bush in his office. So let's do a little bush. And hey, Aussie Adams, how you doing? And yes, I agree. An office table would be a good idea, Brick Sergeant. I like that idea. Steve Devaney says, I understand that, my friend. We've all been there. But you really are the best Lego YouTuber, and thank you, Steven. I really do appreciate that. That is an awesome compliment for you to say that. Cody Austin said, I used to ask my kids, why are you watching YouTube videos of other kids playing video games? And here I sit watching a YouTube video of another adult building Lego. Now he gets it. You know what's funny? Being that you just said that, Cody, and let me get a few parts. Hold on. I used to think that myself as well. For years, I wondered, what is it that was so alluring to my kids that they had to be online all the time? And then here I started watching videos. I started discovering other people, started to see what people were doing, and it's like, you know what? I still don't get the video games. I really don't. But I mean, each generation has their thing. What I really love to do though is I like for this, I liked watching certain people build Lego creations and things. But the other thing that I really love to do a lot is I really like to watch like how-to videos on different projects, how-to guides on like home improvements and things of that nature. And that's what I'm going to put for the plant in the other office. Just trying to show you guys there real quick. Kind of like a little cactus, so to speak, because I would do an actual cactus, but it would take a lot of space. But I do agree with you. Like I said, I used to think the same thing, and I thought, you know, wow. Once I started checking into it, that's kind of what spurred me, honestly, to start getting into YouTube and whatnot. Because a lot of the channels that I would watch, to me, again, I like watching how-tos, and I like to see interesting things be done and things that you don't normally see on YouTube. And when I first started watching a lot of the Lego YouTube channels and stuff, I realized that most of the channels were people basically pretty much focusing just on sets and such. And to me, it's like, I don't really get that, because to me, it's like basically that's a channel for just commercials. Is kind of how I view that perspective anyway. But to see somebody actually build unique creations and do unique things, to me was very interesting. And that's what kind of got me hooked in wanting to do, and I'm knocking stuff down everywhere, and wanting to do my own channel. And is that going to... Yes. So we're going to put one office looking out the window. And I'm sorry, I know I probably just jumped subjects because I'm trying to think of how I want the inside of the office space to look. I'm going to put the plant over in the corner like that. Let's put a little office chair right up against that. And now, and actually he's too far forward. Now what I'm thinking is what Brick Sargent suggested. Let's put a little desk or something back behind him, like it's a little office. Actually, you know what? Actually, what I'm thinking is maybe I'll make this. Originally, I was thinking making this like the big boss's room, but I'm thinking maybe I'll make this like a boardroom, and we'll put a big table up there with a bunch of chairs around it. I think I like that idea better. I think that's what we're going to run with. Trying to catch back up to some of the other comments. Papa's Brick says, I use YouTube for all kinds of things. I fixed my pool pump today. Watch it. That is the awesome thing about YouTube is if you don't know how to do something, because that's I have to actually say and give credit to a lot of different people out there, because there are a lot of amazing channels out there, and I'm not just talking about Lego. I mean, I'm talking about anything and everything you can think of. But that is the amazing thing with YouTube, is if you don't know how to do something and you want to learn how to do something, I'm telling you, if you need to learn, just search it on YouTube and you are going to find somebody that's making a video on how to fix, do, build, whatever, something. So that is the amazing thing about YouTube. Not only that, though, it's actually quite amazing how interactive, and that's not lined up correctly, some of the channels and such are as well. With the audience, with helping, giving you more information, trying to teach you different things, learn different things. We need to build, I think we need to build some bookshelves for the back wall now is kind of what I'm thinking. I think a bookshelf would look really cool, I think, on the back wall. Hey, Sean Bauer. Hey, how you doing? And yeah, I agree, Greg. I really think the boardroom up here is going to be the cat's meow. That's the never-ending task, my friend Greg, is sorting. Yeah, I'm trying to think. How do I know what I want to do? I know what I want to do. I need a brick with studs on the side. Let's see. Because I need brown. We're gonna do brown cabinets because we did a brown desk. So let's get our bricks with studs on the side and brown. And let's think. Now I'm going to show you for doing books and stuff. Where did I put it? There it is. For doing bookshelves, this is one of the things I like to do. First you take and you stack a brick with studs on the side, and then you put a brick on top of it. Now what I'm going to do, I like to use jumper plates, or you can use a tile for the end. But here's why I say I like to use jumper plates for making the bookshelf. When you're using jumper plates, because you can also just put regular bricks all in a row, but if you use a jumper plate, it has that little line that's built into it. So it actually looks like books in a shelf. And let me show you what I mean. Give me just a second while I get a few together. I want to show you an example of both. Don't get me wrong, both examples work, but here's the thing. If you use jumper plates, and I got the wrong camera set up over here so it doesn't zoom in quite as well as it should, but if you do jumper plates, you see how you get that little line in there and it gives it more of a natural book look, where if you're just using regular plates, you don't get that line. It still gives you that illusion of you having books on the shelves, but if you use the jumper plates and then you use tiles with it, it gives you that line and it gives you the more natural effect for how that's going to look. And 1, 2. So now we're going to put, just showing you, we're going to do that, and now I'm going to get another tile for here. So let's take, to add a little bit of character. What I'm going to do is use a palisade brick, and we're going to put tile above that palisade brick for the shelf. So let me get that in there. Just showing you where I'm going with this. And now I did that because I'm going to put a little minifig person there to look like a little trophy or something. Better yet, we got a little egg. We're going to put a fossilized egg on the shelf. So there, that'll be on that shelf. Just trying to show you. Now let's put another plate across here. And now we're going to run another row of bricks up above on this. And this time we're going to put his mug up there. And now let's get another brick in another snot brick. And now let's stack some more books going that way. And we're going to put a few more bricks this time, or books. So there, now we got that half of the shelf done. So now we need 2 more bricks here, and then we'll tile it off. I will make a mini arc reactor at some point. I'm not going to have it accurately located in the building, though, because I'm going to put it up there because I want to have an arc reactor room. Yes, it will definitely fit without touching the ceiling. Zay says, I'm watching Avengers right now. Aussie Adams says, if you have space for a small office, someone could be in on a Zoom meeting with a, with a half suit. I like that. I don't know if I have any minifigs with boxer shorts, though. Cody Austin says, thanks for the shout out. You're more than welcome. He says, I used to think I was the only adult still playing with Lego and addicted to Lego. My first set was Police Pursuit Squad 1991. And no, you are not alone. We are all addicted to Lego here. And something else I'll even tell you, because I think a lot of people kind of are afraid to tell people that they build and mess with Lego. And I used to be that way myself. Mind you, I have been heavy into the hobby for close to 20 years again now. My dark ages were from about 90 to 2000. And actually it's probably around 89 to 2000, somewhere around there anyway. But a lot of it has got to do with the fact that I tell people that I mess with Lego, and sometimes you'll get a goofy look on your face when you tell them that. And I always have to tell or explain to people, I'm like, wait a minute, let me show you some pictures of what I do. And then they look at the pictures of some of the stuff that I've built, and they're like, holy cow. It gives them a whole different thought process for what you're actually doing. Let me get a 1x8 tile. Actually, let's do something different. Let's do this. If I have the space anyway. If I don't, because I do believe this is fine. Yes, I do have the space. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of detail to the top of it to make it kind of look a little more unique, if you will. So we're going to do this on one side. This, actually, you know what? Let's just, happy little accidents. Let's put that guy in the middle. And I'm trying to think outside the box a little bit. If I do that, I have to see if I have the pieces. I'm trying to give it a little bit of a unique shape to the top. Just because I want it to look a little bit different. That gives us some character. Now let's do something on the ends. At least I think this will make the bookshelf look a little bit more unique. Give it a little bit more character. There, it's really simplistic. It's nothing fancy. Just trying to give it a little bit of an added detail, and I was trying to get that to focus in a little better. There you go. So that's going to be the bookshelf in one office. So now we are going to put that guy right here on the back wall of his office. Trying to snap it down. There we go. Now let's go ahead and start putting some of the wall in here to divide these two rooms up. And then we will worry about putting in, if I can get that down anyway, making another bookshelf for the other side. I need some 2x2. There they are. And I'm going to probably need, oh, I guess I can leave that there for now. Almost thinking I need to build that whole wall up. Emma says, you bought 2 bugle towers, so is the combining towers going to be wider or taller? Can't wait to see you build it. It will be a combination of things. Typically what I like to do, for those that are not aware, I do things a little differently when it comes to mocking things out. And I'm going to stand that back up once I get this wall built. Typically what I like to do is I like to try and I'm almost thinking I need to lock that wall together at this. I hate to do that though. Let's just stick with what I got going. Typically I like to do a little bit of both. And a lot of it just quite simply depends on the feeling I get while I'm working on it and building it. Typically though, a lot of people will just double wide it or double height it or whatever. And one of my biggest problems personally with that Daily Bugle right out the gate, I don't like, because I'm a comic book fan, Marvel comic, DC comic, it doesn't matter. And with that, I'm going to tell you that if you ever read any of the Spider-Man comics, Amazing Spider-Man, any of the Spider-Mans, it don't really matter, you'll know that the Daily Bugle, the sign was basically the same width as the building. So to me, my first problem with the Daily Bugle build that Lego has, it looks great. I love how the sign looks, but here's the issue. The sign's too big for the building. So the first thing I am going to have to do is I'm going to have to widen it out. I might even spread the base forward a little bit. And keep in mind, just because I bought 2 sets, that's not all I'm going to be using. I do fully intend on probably having to buy a bunch of different, and is that a bunch of different extra parts to do everything that I want to do. It won't just be the combination of the actual 2 sets to have it completed. I will be adding more to it as I go. Because typically to get the appearance that I want, if I wanted to just buy multiple sets, I would usually end up buying 4, 3, 5, God only knows. Because I kind of go wherever I get the feeling as I'm building. And good evening to you, Brent Fuller. How are you, my friend? Legends Builds. Actually, I'm going to be putting kind of like a boardroom up there. Sean says, I've learned so much from your videos. I may even have stolen bits and pieces of some of your mocks. Totally understandable, and that's what they're there for, my friend. Mr. Block says, yes, people do look at him crazy for when he tells them he's building Lego. And like I said, I get it. I understand it. I get the same looks myself, so I am with you. But like I said, I'll get those crazy looks until people actually see some of the stuff that I've done and some of the builds that I do. And then they get a whole new perspective of what I mean when I'm saying that I play with Lego. One of the things, though, that I do always try to tell people and explain to people once they see some of the stuff that I do, I'm not, because I always say playing with Lego because that is what you're basically doing, or at least that's how I always looked at it anyway, is I am playing with Lego. But I look at Lego as being a media, if you will. It's my artistic media because everybody has different things that they like to do for artwork and things of that nature. And to me, Lego is just another media form. What I mean by media is you can do paint, you can do sketching, you can do ink, you can do chalk, you can do clay. Some people sculpt, some people, there's lots of different ways for people to be artistic. And to me, the best way I can explain it to people anyway is Lego is my artistic media for me to be able to do the different things that I want to do. Even though technically what it basically is to me is it's a really fun way to build models, because that's more what I look at it than anything. But because of a lot of the things I do, people look at it as being artistic. I came up with the answer of saying that it is my artistic media that I use for building. And I am struggling to get, and I just dropped it, that piece all the way back. And you're more than welcome, Emma, and thank you so much, Cody, I should say, for asking and spurring that answer. And hey, Whiskey Shred, how you doing, my friend? And Emma says, sorry to ask so many questions, but you make Lego so exciting. Do you plan to light all of your Lego City eventually? If the answer is yes, then I don't envy the many hours involved in that. Yes, that I do intend on doing that. Dale says this floor may need a communal fish tank. I like that idea, Dale. I like that idea a lot. Something I want to show you guys, though, since we're talking about lighting and we're talking about lighting things up, and Talus Moon says, fish! Fish! Let me show you guys something that I actually got today. Since we are talking about lighting, and this is something that I will make a video about once I get everything running along, I got this in the mail today to show you on this video screen here a little better. And I'm sure you don't know what it is unless you look real closely at what it says on the bottom there. It says dual traffic light controller. Here's my intention with me getting this, and I got to play with it and I got to do some modifications to it. Because believe it or not, this is an actual control board for traffic lights. And it is actually programmable, and you can set it up to do a combination, I think, of 27 different lighting programs, as far as having them flash or having a crosswalk and things of that nature. The thing is the voltage isn't compatible with my LEDs. What I mean by that is it's not a 5-volt board. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be supplying a higher voltage to this. I'm going to be stepping it down on the outputs. And what I'm hoping, once I get everything said and done, I'm going to be able to use this board to have actual fully functional 4-way stops and traffic signals throughout my city. Again, this is one of the many things further ahead in the grand scheme of things. This is something I'm going to be playing with along as I go and do different things. But I just bought 2 of these. They're not super expensive, but to some people, for buying something just to play with it, they might look at it as expensive. Because I paid $20-some a piece for each one of these guys just for me to be able to experiment with. But if I'm able to get everything working the way that I want it, and if I because I'm going to be making some new, I love the traffic signals, the traffic lights and stuff that I have in my city, but I'm going to make them bulkier. And the reason I'm going to have to make them bulkier, and excuse me, is because I want to be able to hide the wire. So I'm going to be making fatter masts and posts that come out so I can hide the wire inside of them. But point being is it's going to be time consuming. It's going to take me a while to figure everything out. I got to figure out the wire sizes, and I got to figure out the reduction, because I don't remember the voltage. I think those are 12 volt operation. So I got to step it down to 3, which can be done with a resistor. I do want to point that out. So that's one of the options I'm thinking in my head. But I have a bunch of different really cool things that I'm thinking about doing with that. But to me, because I know the only person or place that I know that you can actually buy a 4-way functioning stop is from Brick Loot. And I want to say they're around $140 for a full 4-way stop. And to me, I'm not paying $140 for each intersection in my city. I figure I would rather spend because I actually bought 2 of those. I'd rather spend the $40 and play around with it, because if I get one running and working, I'll know how to do the second one, so I'll have 2 intersections. And it'll be a lot cheaper than buying somebody else's ideas and somebody else's thought process. So with this, I'll be able to design and make my own and make it just work perfect the way that I want to. Talus says, this is where the fun begins. That's honestly really cool, and thank you, Talus. I appreciate that. Kenneth Swan says, make the yellow light in the traffic light longer so I have to stop fast. Looking at the instruction manual that came with it, that is something that can be done. It does have, like I said, this is an actual traffic board. It does have the ability to change settings, timing, the whole 9 yards. I do have to play with it, though. I can't really tell you exactly how to do it yet because I haven't done it yet. But just kind of really quickly to kind of explain and show some things to you guys. This is a potentiometer. This potentiometer is what you can use. This is kind of my rough guess after reading some of the information from the brochure. But you can take that and turn it to adjust it for different settings, for lengths of time, for the green, the red, the yellow, so on and so forth. And then this is a program mode, and then you can set this and then re-hit program. And there's a process you have to do, because there's 2 buttons and then there's the pot. And as you're cycling through the buttons, and you can adjust the pot for different things for different units. So really excited, though, to be able to start playing with this. I don't know when I'll get to it, but that is something you can hopefully expect to see on my channel at some point. Cody Austin says that controller, if it works as planned, will be awesome. And thank you, Cody. I'm really hoping it does work anyway. Anyway, though, guys, I'm at my hour mark. I really don't like to stream longer than an hour. And I actually need to get to bed anyway, because I am simply wore out. I've been running all day, even all the way up to the point of coming to this live stream. So I did want to come on, and hey, Brett Fuller, if I missed you, I'm sorry about that. I did want to come on, though, because I haven't been on in a while, and I just wanted to get on, say hi to everybody, let everybody know I am still alive. I am still trying to make videos. It's summertime. I am like insanely busy. I will try and stream a little more often as I can, but I don't know when my next stream will be. I do intend on streaming on Wednesday, but beyond that particular day, just kind of look for me. Usually sometime between 8 and 10 p.m. I try to do my streams when I do them. But as far as right now, because I'm so busy, I don't know when to give you a tentative schedule to look for me. Just try and look for me every day, because I am going to start trying to ramp things back up. But anyway, with that being said, I want to do my favorite thing, which is roll that beautiful bean footage. And with that, I would like to give a very special thanks to everybody that has donated during the stream, because these donations, believe it or not, do help my channel grow a ton. And I want to give a very special thanks to Paul Bott, Kip Hoffman, Ned B, and Brick Sargent. Thank you, each and every one of you guys. You guys are awesome, and thank you so much for helping support my channel and helping me grow. And to all of you that joined the stream tonight to give your support and to just quite simply hang out and talk with me tonight. I really do appreciate it, you guys stopping in and spending your evenings with me. But anyway, on that note, I do need to get out of here. So as always, thank you for coming to Bevins Bricks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share below. And hopefully we will see you soon or next time on Bevins Bricks. Take care, everybody. Good night, Talus, All Wheelin', and Chip Off the Old Blocks, and Sergeant and Kenneth Swan. We will see you guys soon. And Brick Sergeant, we will see you in Discord.